It's like, what's happening? We get rid of that. I'm driving home. I'm late for the finals. The finals is on and I'm late. I'm going to miss it. I want to see the... I don't like the... I don't like the Knicks, and I definitely don't like the Celtics, y'all. I'm just letting you guys know. I love basketball, but I can't stand the Knicks. But I'm late for the finals. I need to make a video. Nobody's going to watch it. Everybody's watching the finals. Because you guys care more about basketball than Jesus, don't you? Because I'm about to make a Jesus video. But y'all watching basketball. But actually, I like to do religious propaganda while I'm driving. Help save time, guys. So, but today's video is titled, "The Christians and Jews do not worship the same God." And I'm just going to use one main point to prove this fact. All right, the Jews admit they do not worship the same God as the Christians. Why? Who do Christians say God is? Christians say that Jesus is God. Jews, they say Jesus is not God. Therefore, by the Jews' own admission, they do not worship the same God as Christians. They say Jesus is not God. So Jesus is not God, and if the Jews do not worship Jesus, they don't worship the same God. How could it be the same God? That's paradoxical. That's illogical. They said Jesus is not God. Christians say that Jesus is God. So they can't possibly worship the same God. What God do the Jews worship? If Jesus ain't God, who is God? Tell me. All these Protestants, you got Mike Huckabee saying, if you curse the Jews, God will curse you. That's not what he teaches. Jesus says, bless those that curse you. That's the opposite of Jews. And the Jews said that Jesus is not God. So if the Jews say that Jesus is not God, that means they don't worship God. They worship the devil. Because if they don't worship Jesus, that means they don't worship God at all. So who do they worship? Mammon, the god of money, the devil. Obviously. That's an easy one. John 8:44, Jesus said, Ye are of your father the devil. Of the devil and Satan. But seriously, guys, all Orthodox Christians say that Jesus is God. Now, if you're an Arian Christian and you adhere to Arianism, like the Hebrew Israelites, yeah, then maybe you agree with the Jews, maybe somewhat a little bit. You got a Jew brain. All right, so, but we're not talking about Arians. I'm talking about Orthodox Nicene Christians and Marcionites and Gnostics, guys. Because really, if you guys don't want to admit it, really the Marcionites and the Gnostics, we're really over there with the Catholics, really, and the Orthodox. We're really all brothers and cousins, really, because we all say that, Jesus is God. Well, the Gnostics say that Jesus is God? We're all God, so Jesus is God, and the Jews do not agree with that. All right, so yeah, the Jews and the Christians do not worship the same God. The Jews literally say Jesus is not God. So if they say Jesus is not God, they don't worship the same God as the Christians. I mean, I think it's pretty simple logic that I'm using here, guys. I think my logic that I'm using is pretty sound. I think it's pretty good and pretty solid. It's a solid foundation I'm working with. All right. So you got a lot of Christians who think that Judaism is just the Bible without Jesus, or they think Christianity is Judaism plus Jesus. It's not. No. God is God. If Jesus is God, Jesus is God. And the Jews say Jesus is not God. That means they're blasphemers. Blasphemers, devils, demons. Technically speaking, guys, if you say Jesus is not God, you're a heretic. All right? After what? Oh, we can use Titus. Oh, the book of Titus was not really written by Paul. I can use it anyways. I can use whatever I want. is a heretic. The Jews are heretics. The Aryans are heretics too. I used to be an Aryan Christian. Not no more. Because Jesus is God. Because he comes from the one. Jesus comes from the one. And nobody knows the one. That's unseeable, unknowable. Jesus became knowable. Okay, and he came to teach us of the Father. So I can get down with the whole Trinity thing. However you want to push the Trinity, I'm with it, baby. You want to go Gnostic Trinity? Nah, I'll make them work together. I'll make the Gnostic Trinity. I'll make a Valentinian Trinity work with the Nicene Trinity. I'm a very pragmatic kind of guy, you know, and I can make things work over here. And like I said, I worship God. His name is Jesus. And the Jews said Jesus ain't God. So they're blasphemers. They're heretics. Do you hear that, Protestants? I like Catholics better than Protestants because the Protestants let the Jews in. And the Protestants are the #1 Jew lovers. I did all the research and I did the studying. I did the analytics, guys. And the Catholics, they really are the most anti-Semitic of them all. I'm not Catholic, though. I'm like a Marcionite or something. But I can sneak up in there. You can sneak up in them churches. They're so dumb they ain't gonna know. You could be, guy, if you're a Marcionite, you could join the Catholic Church. They're so dumb they don't know. Half of them might already be Marcionites. You'll fit right in. Half of them are Platonists, you'll fit right in there. They'll love you. Okay? But like, once again, this video is like, I'm not going in depth. I'm not bringing out scriptures. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there. But look, it's very simple. I don't need to bring out a bunch of scriptures to prove this one. Christians believe that Jesus is God. Yes or no? Back when I was an Aryan type Christian, I just taught that because that's what I had to teach. That was the organization I was a part of. I towed the party line. I don't do that no more. But yeah, Christians, they make a strong point to prove that Jesus is God himself. He's not just the Son of God. Because there's a lot of Christians who say Jesus is not God. You can look at all the ancient Christian artwork, guys. Jesus is the Alpha and the Omega. There was no other Lord but Jesus. They seen him as God. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that, guys. The Arianism is wacky. It really is. Jesus has superpowers. He's not a regular human. And he came from the Father. All right, and he is one with the Father. The whole Trinity thing is real. I don't even understand it. I mean, yeah, kind of. But once again, I'm going to say it again. The Jews, they say Jesus is not God. If you say Jesus is not God, you're a heretic and you're a blasphemer. All right, if you say Jesus is not God, that's satanic. That's sacrilegious. Saying Jesus is not God is sacrilegious. So the Jews are sacrilegious. They're heretics. They're pagans. They worship Satan. So there's no way in hell or on earth. Is that the same thing? There's no way in hell that Jews and Christians worship the same God. It doesn't make any logical sense. They literally say Jesus is not God when Christians say Jesus is God. That doesn't make sense. I'm repeating myself over and over again. Why? For one, I have Spectrum and my connection goes in and out. It doesn't work very good. I want to make sure this point gets across. All right, and 2, because I want my point to get across. The Jews say that Jesus ain't God. Christians say Jesus is God. So that's not the same. They don't worship the same God. So what God did the Jews worship? They worship this guy named Yahweh. Yahweh, the son of El Elyon. It's an old pagan deity, guys. It's the old tribal storm god of the Jews. It's very similar to Jupiter and Zeus. All right, 12 tribes, 12 Olympians. Punishes man for receiving knowledge, floods the earth. Whatever. Some people say there's a good Yahweh and a bad Yahweh. They'll say that the southern kingdom worshiped the evil Yahweh, and the northern kingdom worshiped the good Yahweh that had a wife. But the northern kingdom worshiped Yahweh and Asherah. I'm not into the goddess worship. Maybe that's what Mary is. Maybe there is a divine feminine. There is a divine feminine. Don't act like there ain't. I felt it. Yeah, I can feel it. I know it's real. All right, but I ain't into all this goddess worship, all this weird stuff. I keep my stuff simple, like Jesus. You know what I mean? You ain't seen him go around worshiping no mother or goddess. All right, he was keeping it simple. All right. So what was my point? I'm almost done. I got to go watch the finals, y'all. Is the Knicks winning or lose? Oh, I just want to see the Knicks lose. And I want to hear Knicks fans cry for the next 20, 30 years about, oh, President Trump made us lose. They're going to be blaming Trump. They're going to blame somebody. They got to have a scapegoat. They just can't accept the fact that your city is trash. New York smells like shit. It's filthy. There's rats and roaches. You can't even breathe in New York City. That place is an abomination. That's daggone Babylon. I'm not saying it really is. I can say it really is. That place is foul. Really, bro. Who could live in New York City? And the rent's so high, how could you afford it? How could you be proud to be from... How could you be a proud Knicks fan when your city smells like shit? You got mountains of trash on the sidewalk. Stacking up. That's like the Tower of Babel. New York City got the Tower of Babel. They try to build a tower to God with their trash bags. They want to see how high they can stack them. They're going to anger the rat god and Master Splinter. He's going to come out the sewers and whoop your ass. But anyway, guys, that was a little ridiculous. I don't even know what that is. But once again, Jews, they say Jesus ain't God. I say they're blasphemers. In my opinion, if you say Jesus is not God, you're a blasphemer. You're not even a Christian. Like the Mormons, they're Aryans or something, right? They say Jesus is not God. Blasphemers, devils, demons. Okay, this is easy, guys. It's really easy. Somebody say Jesus is not God, devil, blasphemer, demon. It's like kind of fun too. Try it out sometime. Because this is what works. It's what works. All right? But once again, the Jews say Jesus is not God. So Jews don't even worship God at all. They're atheists. If you say Jesus is not God, you're an atheist. You're an atheist. Because that means you don't believe in God. There ain't but one. His name's Jesus. So if you say Jesus ain't God, that means you're an atheist. Oh, them goddamn communist atheist Jews, would you look at them? Check them out. Spreading their communism and their filth. And their Marxisms and their socialisms. I got some socialistic tendencies. Hey, but guys, listen, I'm a capitalist, okay? I don't care about politics and monetary systems right now. All I care about is Jesus, baby. Because Jesus said, give your money to the poor. That's my monetary system. I'm not out here just to get money. I'll do a job, and I'm not looking for like crazy, insane profits. Just pay me enough just so I can live. I just need enough to sustain myself. I don't need crazy profits, guys. You know, live a simple life. We don't need to be chasing money. That's not the Christian way. We just need enough to sustain ourselves, you know? Not too much. We don't need to live in the lamp of luxury. It's really not even worth it anyway, you know what I mean? So yeah, I like the Christian train of thought. I like the way Christians roll. I like the way Jesus rolls, you know what I'm saying? It really vibes with my spirit. All right, making the world a better place. One person at a time. One person at a time, baby. All right, I'm pulling up to the spot. We got to go watch the finals once again. I'll say it one more time for the people in the back that didn't hear me. The Jews and Christians do not worship the same God. Are you a Christian? Yes or no? Is Jesus God? Yes or no? Do the Jews say Jesus is God? Yes or no? It's that simple, y'all. It's not hard to figure out. This ain't no high-level mathematics. All right, this is like real easy stuff. It's like the sky, the sky's blue and the water's wet type stuff. Grass is green. My cat is orange. I got an orange cat. He's retarded. Just like he's an orange cat. Like, what did you expect? So it's like, this is not like high-level calculus, physics, All right. What Christians teach. The Catholic Church, are you guys Catholic? Or are you part of one of those blasphemous groups like the Jehovah Witness? A cult. A cult. A whacked out cult. All right. Or maybe you're a Hebrew Israelite. All right. But whatever you are, is Jesus God? Even the Hebrew Israelites teach that we're gods. So is Jesus God? Yes or no? Nicene Christians, Catholics, Orthodox? Yes. Yeah. The Orthodox even have the doctrine of theosis, that we can become God. Jews ain't with that. They ain't trying to hear that. There's only one God to the Jews. So, I don't know. You might have some Gnostic-minded Jews, too. They're all a bunch of wacky individuals. They all believe a bunch of wacky stuff. No two rabbis agree on anything, to be fair. All right, but all rabbis agree on one thing. Jesus surely is not God. The rabbi would be God before Jesus. They hate Jesus. They don't like him at all. So if they say Jesus is not God, that means they do not worship the same God as the Christians. It's not hard to figure out. I'm out of here.